everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for watching the 4 o'clock show. We stayed local. Now we're going to get a lot more national. I'd like to welcome Matt Materazo with Gladiator Solutions to talk about Pack Protect. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Kate. That's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, as we are looking at the end of summer, heading back to school, thought there was no better time than to welcome you in to talk about what it is that you're doing from a business standpoint to help families and students address safety concerns. Clearly, school shootings have occurred with increasing numbers around the country, and you've been involved with looking for ways to keep kids safe. And this is really looking with Pack Protect, the level 3 protection. Talk with us a little bit about this brainchild and how this all came to fruition.
Sure. So I happen to own a ballistic protection company called Gladiator Solutions, and I work with law enforcement, military personnel, first responder community every day in providing them with life-saving products. And about 3 years ago, I thought about putting something in my kids' backpacks. I have a 14-year-old daughter, Lexi, and my 16-year-old son, Sebastian. They both go to the local high school. And with the frequency of shootings across the country, as a parent, I'm concerned. But I never got to the point where I did anything because even though it's what I do for a living, dealing with the professionals that actually face those types of dangers willingly every day, it was emotionally, it was challenging for me. But it wasn't until the Parkland shooting that I finally put plates in my kids' backpacks. My son took it out at class one day, and some of his classmates said, wow, why don't we have something like that? And that weekend, they approached me and asked if I could produce something for them. So essentially what I did was I said, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be with you guys alongside of me. So this really is a product by kids for kids. And essentially what came out of our initial discussions were that, you know, there's the national policy, Run, Hide, Defend, and it's wonderful, right? The first responder community has done a tremendous amount of work in preparing the kids in the schools for this type of an event. But the bottom line is, from the moment that a shooter starts shooting and the moment that the first responders get on scene, there is nothing to protect the kids, no matter how well they implement Run, Hide, and Defend.
So talk with us a little bit about Pack Protect. You talk about your kids taking it out of the backpack and showing their other students. And there's a number of products on the market, but yours is differentiated in a particular way, and tell viewers how.
Sure. So we use the same exact technology and materials that we use with law enforcement and first responders across the country. Our product is the latest, greatest materials, ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene. It is lighter. It is 15 times stronger than steel per weight. And what our product does is it actually absorbs the round. So when the plate is hit with a round, the kinetic energy is dispersed evenly, so that there's less trauma to the point of impact, and particularly in the back of the plate, which is, in most cases, against the victim. We call it RDT, round dispersion technology. A lot of the products that are out there are either bulletproof backpacks that are not very appealing to the students. They all want their JanSport or their North Face or their Patagonia, right? It's their specific identity. And other inserts are older type of material like aramids, which are heavier and they give more. So the impact is there's more trauma to the victim. The bottom line is, when we developed this, we wanted a product that was unobtrusive. We wanted it light. We wanted it very thin. You can see it's 1/4 of an inch thick. But we wanted it to be something that you put in the back of the backpack and you don't think about it, right? I mean, the bottom line is, this is designed to provide peace of mind for not just the students or the business person that has it in their business backpack, but also to the parents. And when I finally put a plate in my kids' backpacks, the peace of mind that came over me was, it was somewhat overwhelming. But, what I did was I felt like I was doing something to give my kids a better chance of survival in the event of an incident like this.
And talk with us, as you said, you tried it out on your kids and sent them to school with it. How do your kids feel about this, going to school, knowing that they have this protection, both in their backpack, but still that level of uncertainty of any kid anywhere around the country, doesn't know if their school could be next. How are your kids handling all of this?
It's a great question, right? I think what came out loud and clear with the kids was that the adults, the politicians, have been dealing with this issue for years. But the reality is it's the students that are actually injected into the environment every single day, right? We drop our kids off at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and they're there for 7 hours. And what came out, again, loud and clear from the students was they think about it. Not all the time, right? But they think about it every once in a while. Is somebody going to jump out of the corridor? Is somebody going to walk into their gym class or their art class and do something, that's just absolutely terrifying? So, for them, it was more, again, tied to the policy of run, hide, defend. What could give them a better fighting chance when they're running away and they've got their backpacks on them, when they're hiding in a classroom, using it as a shield, putting it in front of them, or at the very, I think, unfortunate instance where you have to defend, you have to fight, you're in a confined environment with a shooter, you go at them with this above your head and you try to create as much havoc and distraction as you possibly can while you and your classmates or teachers disarm the shooter. So, those are the things that came out loud and clear, but they do think about it. The other thing that came out loud and clear was that the kids said, we absolutely want to do something to address the mental health side of this issue. And that's why, we have partnered with Core Foundation. And Core Foundation was formed by students of Virginia Tech. I think everybody's well aware of the shooting that took place at that institution. A bunch of these folks that are PhDs, and they are very well educated and schooled in the area of mental health, have formed this organization. It's a nonprofit. They go across the country to high schools, middle schools, and they foster this more welcoming, more friendly environment. What the kids said to us was, everybody knows those students that are sitting alone at lunch. Everyone knows the kids that are walking around campus with their head down and with this dark cloud hanging over them. And, they said, look, there's Johnny, captain of the football team. He's with his girlfriend, Sally, head of the cheerleading squad. They look like they've got it all together, but you know what? They're just as confused as we are. So come on over here, be part of our group. Let's have a conversation and let's just figure this out. If one student can be steered away from doing something that's, just, terrifying, then this is a huge win for all of us across the country.
And so you raised that great point of approaching it from a multifaceted perspective, Matt. I want to just ask you from the business side of things, now that these have gone to manufacture, how's the interest and how have the sales been?
So sales have been very, very, very strong, actually better than we had anticipated. And quite frankly, it's because it's a touchy subject. It's one of the reasons why I didn't come out with it 3 years ago. It's how do you talk to parents about this? But what was amazing was conceptually, when we first started on this journey in developing Pack Protect, we would talk to people, not just in our local community, but across the country. And overwhelmingly, the response was, why wouldn't we do this? So, the reaction has been unbelievable. And again, it's not that people feel this is going to happen in my school. But the reality is, every single person that's been involved in a school shooting thought that before it happened. So this is really about protection in kind of preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. But it's also about prevention. And so you've got Pack Protect for protection, and you've got Core Foundation and the good work that they're doing across the country for prevention.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to Skype in here, Matt, and give folks a perspective on Pack Protect, because as we learned from you earlier, how it differentiates from other products on the market, but what we didn't know is how you're working hand in hand with the mental health side of things to address this at the school level. We really appreciate your taking the time to Skype in today, Matt.
I appreciate you having me on your show.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt Materazo with Gladiator Solutions and his Pack Protect product. I want to thank them for coming here into the studio. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center.